could all be gone tomorrow. So just be careful with that. Hey guys, it's Nate. Welcome back to the channel. So this is going to be a follow-up to one of my previous videos on how to earn passive income, which is money while you sleep. And today specifically, I'm going to be diving into crypto. So there's a few different opportunities in crypto to make passive income. The one that pretty much everyone kind of knows about if you've been in crypto for a while is mining, right? So you set up a server, you set up a machine, and you just mine crypto. And basically what mining is, in a nutshell, is you're just trying to solve a problem and you use your hardware at it. And as part of that problem, you get a reward. In the case of Bitcoin, I think what you're trying to do is you're trying to figure out this nonce, which is just a random number, like thousands or millions of numbers. One of them is a possibility. There's no real way to figure out which one it's going to be. So you just got to keep trying them until you get the right one. You can mine on your own. Sure, that could have worked back in the 2000s, but I think a lot of people now, you mine in a pool. And basically with a pool, so like I said, you're trying to figure out what this random number out of millions or thousands of numbers can be. And if you have a pool, think about it, it's pretty easy, right? So hey, Jack, you take 1,000 of these, Jill, you take another 1,000, Bob, take another 1,000, and there you go, you got your pool, right? You split it out, so hopefully you find it faster than someone else that finds it and wins the reward. It's a race. You see mining getting a lot of bad rap these days because it is very computationally expensive. And because of that, it also means that you use a ton of electricity, right? So using GPU cards, ASIC miners, those use a ton of electricity, which is power, which is money, and technically is burning fuel somewhere. Some of the newer cryptos are moving or have been built from the ground up for proof of stake. So what is proof of stake and how is that different from mining? So with proof of stake, what you're doing is you're basically saying, look, I got some crypto and I'm going to stake it. And basically what staking is, look, I'm going to put this crypto up at risk and I'm going to validate these blockchain transactions, right? So when Bob sends, Bitcoin to Jill, someone needs to validate that, hey, Bob has that Bitcoin, right? He's not just like pulling out of his butt to send to Jill. He's got that Bitcoin. That is why you need miners or these stakers on the system, because that's what they're doing. That's their job, is this decentralized way of validating that everything's going through correctly. Because if you think about it, when you go to the bank is in charge of making sure that all that stuff goes down properly. But in crypto, there's no bank. So the people have to come together and they have to do these validation transactions. That's what keeps crypto as a decentralized finance, right? DeFi. So when you're doing proof of stake, you put up an amount of stake, right? So in Ethereum's case, I think it's 32 Ethereum that you got to put up. And as part of that, you start getting blockchain transactions that you got to validate. If you validate these correctly, because other people are also taking a look at these, right? So they're going to make sure you've done your work correctly. And if you validate them correctly, then you get a reward, right? That's your payment for doing this work. But if you don't validate them correctly, or you're offline, or you're not available, you're unreliable, well, you're going to get slashed, right? Which basically means they're going to take some of that Ethereum away from you, that crypto away from you. So that's your disincentive, not to try and game the system, not to do anything dishonest. Ethereum is moving to this. That's Ethereum 2.0. That's where they're going. Cardano, I've been looking at that recently. It was built from the ground up as a smart contract platform, just like Ethereum, but it has staking built from day one. So there's nothing really for them to migrate to. But let's focus on Ethereum because that's the one I did a ton of research on. How do you do this validation, right? What can you expect to earn? You got to have 32 Ethereum if you want to do this on your own. Build a machine. So you need to kind of have some tech skills. You want to be able to keep an eye on the system. You want to be able to monitor it. You want to be able to do all that stuff. So if you don't have a DevOps skill set, don't try and build a machine yourself or in AWS. You're probably better off taking another option, which is you can join a pool. So I know Rocket Pool was looking at starting a staking pool a little while ago. I'm not sure if that's live yet. You can join a pool and basically they'll handle all the machine stuff and everything. It's just you're providing some Ethereum for them so that they can pool Ethereum together and they can come up with that 32 Ethereum, right? Because you need 32 Ethereum per validator node. Well, if you only have one, Jill has one, some other dude has another couple. Well, you put it all together and you get that 32 Ethereum. If you're going to do it on your own, the other thing beyond good DevOps is make sure you build a reliable machine, but make sure you also have good internet, right? So if you have crappy internet wherever you are, and your internet keeps going down, well, you're going to keep getting slashed, right? I don't think it's going to be a ton of slashing from what I read, even with like connectivity blips, but I wouldn't even bother. I'd just join a pool at that point, right? If you feel kind of uncertain about your connectivity and machine. All right, so how much can you make? The range before it was kind of official was somewhere between 2 and 18%. It mattered how many validator nodes were active. The more nodes, the less, you know, you're going to get paid out. The less nodes, the more you could get paid out. I think the last time I looked at this, you could check out stakingrewards.com. They have a pretty good breakdown. I think it's somewhere around 7.75% now, which is a pretty decent return compared to the other stuff you can get in your market. Like my savings account's earning, I don't know, like 0.6%, and that's a high yield savings account. That's terrible. I mean, we'll see. With the Fed announcing an increase in interest rates, maybe that goes up, but that's still yet to be determined. But I think 7.75 is a pretty decent return. Now, the benefit though is you have this crypto, right? So if you believe in long-term crypto, you believe that prices are going to go high. This is one of those few investments where you can stake, you can earn interest on your stake, but then you can also ride the appreciation wave. So you can kind of benefit from crypto in like that double dip scenario, right? So passive income coming in from the staking rewards plus a potential appreciation play later on down the road. So let's put that in the context, right? So let's say 5% Cardano, 7.75% Ethereum. So let's say you had 100 grand that you stuck into a staking contract because you really believe that these cryptos are going to do well in the future, right? Make sure, it's like a dividend. Make sure you believe in the underlying thing and you're not just chasing yield. Because if the underlying asset loses half of its value, but you're earning 5%, that didn't really do you any good, right? So let's assume, you know, all of that stuff equal. That's what you kind of decided on doing. Well, 5% of 100 grand, that's 5,000, right? 7.75% of 100 grand, that's 7,750. So you got like 7 grand coming a year, like $700. You know, $400 to $700 that's coming in every month. That's not bad. You didn't have to do anything for that, right? You got that money coming in whether you work or not while you're sleeping. So one thing you got to keep in mind, at least for Ethereum, for Cardano, I think since it was built from the ground up, you can stake, you can unstake, you can do whatever you want. With Ethereum, until they move the entire network to Ethereum 2.0, you can stake, but I think your Ethereum is locked up for some time. I've heard that there's ways to get it out. I probably wouldn't recommend it. So if you're going to go into Ethereum and stake now, make sure you're really comfortable with the long-term prospect of Ethereum, because you may not be able to get that staked Ethereum out for a while. All right, so another thing you can do with crypto is they have interest accounts. So what an interest account is for crypto is you hold the crypto in something like I think BlockFi does it, a ton of people do it. BlockFi does it, TradeStation does it, Coinbase probably even had something. The BlockFi link, if you're interested in checking it out, I'm going to put a referral link down in the description. You sign up with that, you get 10 Bitcoin, I get 10 Bitcoin. Well, sorry, not 10 Bitcoin. You get $10 worth of Bitcoin. I get $10 worth of Bitcoin. Yeah, if it was 10 Bitcoin, 10 Bitcoin, I think everyone would do it. So yeah, the interest accounts, basically how they work. You hold your crypto in one of these accounts, and they're going to use that to lend to other people, and you get some of that, you get a cut of that. So like in the case of like a stable coin, let's take into account USDC, US dollar coin, that's supposed to be pegged 1-to-1. That's what a stable coin is pegged 1-to-1 to the underlying fiat currency. So USDC is 1-to-1 with US dollar, as the name implies. And on that, I think their interest rate's at like 8.6% or something like that. So if you hold USDC in BlockFi, you get 8.6% back, which is pretty nice. The risks, you got to keep those in mind, right? So the risks are that BlockFi, I don't know, just disappears tomorrow, which is probably unlikely, or USDC goes under, which is again probably unlikely. But there's no FDIC. As much as you can argue the FDIC is solvent or insolvent, or if everyone kind of took a run on that, would there be money left? But there is no government entity watching your back with crypto anywhere, right? So that's definitely a con of crypto. you have no safety net. So you play the crypto game at your own risk. So don't put any more money than you're willing to lose in any of this stuff. So as much as an interest account sounds like a savings account, it's not a savings account. That's why they're paying you 8.6%, and it could all be gone tomorrow. So just be careful with that. All right, guys, check this next video. I think you're gonna really like it, and I'll see you there. Thanks.